Dudes suck. Anyway. Welcome to Etc., the podcast where we don't even know what will happen. Every episode we spin a wheel of a few topics, and me and my lovely wife Amanda will figure out what to talk about when we get there. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to the Etc. podcast where we don't even know what's going to happen. We had some good outro suggestions last time, and I already forget them.
You didn't?
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write them down?
Nope. Not even a little bit. But we've got to pick our wheel, so we're going to spin the wheel to see what we're going to start with. And hopefully... I say hopefully it's not a tier list, because that tends to just turn into the episode, so hopefully we get to the tier list. You know, I've had the same relationship advice Reddit story pulled up for maybe a month. Maybe more. But Am I the Asshole got picked, so it's still, those tabs will remain. I don't even remember what they are anymore. This is crazy. This is insane to me. This Reddit story, it's an Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for letting my son manscape when my wife doesn't want him to? The context for this better be damning, because the title is crazy. I didn't read it, but it does say update at bottom. So I was like, oh, if there's an update, I'm even more inclined to read this one.
Oh, boy.
I'm praying that it's not one of those boy mom scenarios.
Oh, yeah,
where it's
gross.
Like your first girlfriend won't compare to me, like one of those crazy people. I'll try to keep it short. My wife and I have 3 boys, 17, 16, and 14. May the Lord have mercy on my soul. Actually, they are good guys. Fair. I was at Target with my youngest, Tanner. I hope that's a fake name. Not to say Tanner's a bad name, but you shouldn't be saying your children's names on Reddit. I feel like most people know to use fake names. We split for a while, and he shows back up asking if he could buy something with his own money. It was a beard trimmer. I laughed and told him he doesn't need that yet. He explained nope, not for his face. He wanted it for downstairs. His older brothers both manscape, and he wanted to as well, but they wouldn't loan their trimmers. I told him sure, I'd even buy it for him. Got home, and wife was not impressed. She didn't want him to have it. One excuse after the other. He's not old enough. Sure he is. He didn't need it yet. Okay, true, he's not exactly taming a jungle, more like a small hedge, but if he wants to neaten things up, that's fine by me. I don't want more hair all over the bathroom. Non-issue, the boys keep their bathroom clean. While me, Tanner, and the oldest Liam are pretty smooth, middle boy Lucas somehow got the gorilla gene. He was Sasquatch at 14. If he's not causing a problem, no one will. I told him he could keep the trimmer, but wife seems pursed. I did remind him to keep the bathroom free of little hairs. Get brothers to help / advise if needed, or me, and don't make the mistake of going all Kojak below the belt. Liam made that mistake a couple years ago with much itching. I don't know what Kojak means. So, am I the asshole for disregarding my wife's opinion? There is an update. Do we want to go right into the update, or do we start here?
I guess we should start here.
I think he's right to assume there's something deeper going on. Because if everyone else is, why is it a problem if the youngest is?
Yeah, like, it's not a problem, but I guess in the mother's eyes, it just means the youngest is growing up and she doesn't want that.
Yeah, I could see it just being my youngest baby is no longer a baby.
And that's, like, the hiccup. But otherwise, it's a little weird. Not as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, everyone's pretty, like, chill right now, you know, like, there wasn't a huge blowback, there wasn't a huge pushback, it was just like, here's my excuses of why I'm uncomfortable, we're gonna do it anyway, no huge argument, no nothing, you know, so, like, it's pretty chill so far, but there is an update. Thanks everyone, I'm overwhelmed by all the comments, only expected a few views / responses, appreciate all who commented, read them all even if I could not reply back to each. All's good here. Last night I talked with my wife, as many theorize she's just wistful that the last baby bird is growing up, although all are still in the nest. She knows none of them will be little boys forever, but she was and is such a good boy mom that she's missing those times already, and had a not-so-great reaction. That's all there is to it, thankfully. As for Tanner, I went up to the oldest's room where all 3 were hanging out. You never know where the posse of hooligans will be. Tanner said, check it out, stood up, and dropped his shorts in a flash. That's crazy. And yep, the hedge clippers had been at work. I told him great job, looks good. He said, Liam had to do most of it. Liam shrugged. I'm very blessed they all get along so well, and that the older two are excellent big brothers most of the time. Before I need to stop immediately. That's a level of closeness I cannot... Maybe this is coming from my own trauma, because I'm very distant with my family. I'm not close with my family. But that feels too close. The idea of, like, I go up to check on my boys, and my... How old is he? 14-year-old? Goes, Dad, look, and flashes me to show off that he shaved, and I go, good job. And he goes, my brother shaved it for me. Is that not weird? Like, I feel like that's a little weird.
I guess it just feels weird because we couldn't trust our own parents and family to do it.
Fair. And it also, I guess it also comes with the fact, like, I don't have a brother. So I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that too. But, like, I couldn't imagine being that close to a family member where I would, one, let them shave me down there, and two, flash my father to show the job well done. That's crazy to me. I mean, I'm happy for them that they seem like they're in a very healthy, caring, supportive family. That's maybe a little too close. I don't know. I would have had the reaction of, oh, good job. Not like, good job, son. You know, like, I don't know.
I guess their concept is that there's no shame in having body parts. And that's where, like, most of us are like, oh, that's too far because we've been shamed about our body parts. And we sexualize our body parts.
I don't mean to shame. I don't want to see my boy's freshly shaven junk if he's 14. You did a good job, bud. That's like, there's more. It's
But I still agree with you. I'm just putting another opinion, like, well, it's probably just because we're used to being shamed for having body parts because it's sexual, whereas it really isn't unless you make it.
There's actually, I skimmed the update. They go into it. Because I didn't even clock it. He mentioned earlier that, like, it's not like he'd be taming a jungle, just a small hedge, implying he knows. To a couple of people who DM'd me, no, none of us are nudists or anything like that, lol. But they are definitely those never wear shirt guys, and when getting ready to go out, you never know which one or ones will be in the shower. Okay, this is getting weirder. Showering, ones plural, implies showering together. I don't know, this family's way too close for me. Sharing unless they got a big shower, I ain't showering with a sibling. The guys are just self-assured, maybe too much, definitely too much, and not a shy bone in their bodies. Years ago, twice, my oldest, who had long hair then, went as Tarzan for Halloween, and my middle boy once went to a neighborhood costume contest as Michael Phelps in nothing but a Speedo and 8 gold medals around his neck. And this was years after Phelps won. They keep me young and make me very tired at the same time. Thanks, everyone. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's just no shame in that house.
There's no shame in that house. I don't know. I think that even without shame, I don't want to shower with a sibling. I feel like that's too close. I don't want to get
When's the line stop? Because, like, when would that line stop? Because, like, if they've been showering together since they were little toddlers, when would they stop that? If that's just something they're used to. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
We currently bathe baby toast and toddler toast together because they're a little less than 2 years apart, and it's easier. When do we stop that? When do we draw that line?
Not saying it's inherently sexual, but I think for me, it's when sexual feelings start happening in the mind, right? Because then at that point, if I'm showering with someone, I'm going to be very close to them, naked and wet. And in my mind is going to, like, even intrusively be like, okay, this is turning into a sexual situation. I am uncomfortable. You know, like, if I think about who would I want to shower with, I can only think about you.
Well, you are also hypersexual.
Fair. But, like, my brain goes to, I wouldn't want to shower with a family member for that very reason. And also, we have, maybe they're rich, I don't know. I've always had, we have small showers. So to shower with someone requires to do that, like, shimmy, circle to go past each other. And I don't want to do that with my dad. Like, so
Well,
that's where my
not
brain
with
is.
your dad, it's with your imaginary brother.
It's still, I'll rub butts with my brother. Because that's like realistically, right? Like if you like gun to my head shower with a family member, the rotate is going to be we go back to back and we shimmy butts. Like it's a weird situation. Maybe if it was like one of those giant showers or like a public shower, that's a different story. A gym, different story. But when I think like a home shower, that's a small unit to be moving two people around.
Well, we just have really tiny bathrooms.
Fair. And like I mentioned, like a gym shower, totally different situation. It's like most public gyms, I feel like have those stalls.
Yeah.
But like even like middle school, high school, they didn't. It was just a room with shower heads. And if I was in a public gym with a room with shower heads, okay, I'm just gonna shower, keep my eyes forward, do my own thing, and go. And like there's no shame in that. But that's also I don't have to rub butts with anybody.
Well, maybe they're not rubbing butts.
Yeah, like maybe they're rich and they got like the like double shower rainfall situation with the two wand like sprayer things. This family is very close and hopefully wealthy enough that the showering together thing isn't weird. Because I think it just comes down to if you're showering together. I've only had private showers that are way too small to not be in a relationship with the person you're showering with, because you're going to be in a relationship if you shower together. Did you have any other thoughts on the shower together, shave together family? Families that shower together, shave together.
Yeah, okay. They can keep doing them because apparently it's working for them.
They seem like a healthy family. They seem very happy together. I'm curious what if anyone in the comments is clocking like, does he have pubes? So he can decide for himself if he wants to trim. Haha, yes he has, though not a force. No clue why this would be an issue for anyone. Yeah, everyone's pretty much clocking it. No one's having like a huge like, oh, this is crazy. Your wife's, everyone's like, no, it's a huge moment, and like, she probably just doesn't want her baby grown up, which is fair. Yeah, no, everyone's pretty much in agreement. Maybe I'm the weird one, being a little weirded out about showering with family members. Okay. There's one comment that clocked it. He showed you his work? Is this a male thing? My teenager would rather die than show me any pubescaping they did. I don't know. I'm closer to that comment.
What are the replies to that one?
There are 3 replies to that. Not a male thing, and I say this with no exaggeration, actually rather die than show my dad my junk. Would never want it in my brother's hands either. Maybe it's just I know we all loathe each other, so maybe it's just a thing for closer family, but still weird to me. Not a male thing. Grew up with brothers spanning several ages. Not once did this happen. Different families have different comfort with nudity. Me and my mom didn't give any thought to it, so naturally when I started trimming down there, she said something effective: "Don't make a mess and don't go too short, you'll itch." We moved on with our day. Okay, so yeah, it's different families, different dynamics.
Yeah.
My family could never.
Yeah, no, your family's not great for
What the fuck does go all Kojak mean? It's still bother. Is that just like a bald dude that I should know about?
I don't remember.
Go all Kojak.
I would have just looked up Kojak.
Well, Kojak isn't that like a camera brand? A popular
Kodiak?
TV drama. Oh yeah. A popular cop drama about a bald man.
Yeah.
Hey, we get to do the tab that I have had for like a month plus and don't remember what it is anymore. Oh, I remember this one now. I don't remember what the actual story is, but I remember the title. It's a relationship advice. My boyfriend, 30 male, has a close female friend, 34 male, who blatantly dislikes me, 29 female. Oh, wait. I said 34 male. 34 female, 29 female. And makes no secret of it. I've reached a stage where it's her or me. How can I confront my boyfriend? I don't know if I'm being wildly unreasonable and jealous over all this, so I need some outside opinions. I have been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and we share an apartment. He has had a female friend, Nell, and they were friends for years before I came along. I had no issue with their closeness. I have male friends and knew I'd be a hypocrite to leap to judgments. But at this point, I feel I'm justified in thinking the way I do about her. The first time I met her, it was extremely obvious Nell didn't like me. She came into the bar all excited to see my boyfriend before noticing me. Her entire demeanor changed. She shook my hand and dug her nails into my skin before ignoring me the rest of the night. She even seemed upset at one point that I took the seat beside my boyfriend and quietly left halfway through the evening without saying goodbye. So it's safe to say my first impression of her wasn't good, but I tried to reason with myself that not everyone gets along and I don't need to be friends with my boyfriend's friends. However, as time passed, it became really clear Nell's attitude toward me wasn't improving. She had a way of openly mocking me in front of groups of people, making side comments or loudly joking about my voice or appearance. My boyfriend would stand there and say nothing, and after the fact I asked him about it, he said he hadn't noticed. She'd also make a show of hugging him hello and goodbye and not me. She would mix that kind of stuff in with smiles and basic politeness, so it was tough to articulate exactly what she'd done. I felt very much like I was back in high school. From that point on, I basically decided I didn't need to have someone like that in my life, so I just stopped going to things she was at. I haven't seen her in about a year. My boyfriend still sees her regularly, and they text often. I'm now at the stage where I fully believe they've either dated in the past or have something going on now. I've tried gently bringing this up, but he denies they've ever dated and makes me feel like I'm being jealous and bitter by asking. I end up suppressing those feelings before something brings them up again. I've reached the end of my tether with it. The final straw came for me the other day, when my boyfriend left his phone open and I saw a text exchange between the two. Nell had sent him a heart emoji and my boyfriend had written something about how he was thinking of her. I know I should have said something then and there, but I felt numb and decided to go to bed. I'm trying to work out how to handle this. Is it possible nothing's going on here? It's something I've tried arguing in my head, but then something else pops up that makes me doubt it. Maybe friends do just send hearts and I'm making this up because I don't care for Nell. I don't want that to be the case. I'm basically at a point where I feel he either has to tell me the truth and restrict contact with Nell, or else I don't feel like I can maintain the relationship. I feel constantly disrespected and I want something to change but don't know how to go about it. Any advice would be welcomed. There is an update, but we'll get there when we get there. I don't know where my water is. Can I have... Oh, I remember now. I'm gonna grab my drinks. What do you think?
Okay.
You can start without me.
I'm trying to think how I want to word my thoughts. It sounds like Nell is jealous.
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
And so maybe Nell wants there to be something with, there's no name for the boyfriend, but...
I also think, and like she mentioned, where it's getting to a breaking point where she needs to have a serious talk with her boyfriend. I feel like this happens a lot in stories like this, where the girl is quick to blame the other girl, but to the point where like the other girl has given a fake name to be talked about, the boyfriend isn't.
Yeah. This
is a 50-50 street. Like, 50 of this is Nell, and 50 of this is the boyfriend. If what she's saying is true, and, like, Nell is constantly mocking, criticizing, making jokes about your girlfriend, and you're just like, oh, I didn't notice. Either you did and you don't care,
or you're really fucking stupid.
Or you're just not paying attention to your girlfriend and her feelings, and you're being a shitty boyfriend.
Yeah, you're really fucking stupid.
And also, even if you didn't notice, given the biggest benefit of the doubt, your girlfriend brings it up to you, pay the fuck attention next time and see if that's a real thing. Like, if you told me, like, one of our friends is making fun of you constantly in front of everybody, in front of me, in front of you, and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice. If we hang out with them again, first of all, I'll be like, damn, that sucks. We're not hanging out with them. But if I didn't, for whatever reason, believe you, I'm like, I've never heard of this in my life. The next time we hang out, I'm fucking all eyes, all ears on that person.
Yeah.
Because I respect you as a person. So,
yeah.
Like, it just sounds like even if Nell isn't jealous, even if they're not having a fling, your boyfriend doesn't respect you.
Yeah.
Like, end of the day. And I get, like, yes, there's seniority in relationships. Those two have known each other longer, so you don't want to necessarily insert yourself. But, like, you're not being the problem here.
Okay. Update.
First, I'd like to sincerely thank everyone for the kind comments. Didn't expect to be so many responses. Appreciate that with them all. I wanted to provide everyone with an update because a lot has happened. A few days ago, after a lot of tearful soul searching, I decided the best thing for me would be to walk away from the relationship. Honestly, healthy.
Good.
Like, either talk about it or leave. You're 29. You've got plenty of life to find someone else if you want to. It's not a huge deal. I sat my boyfriend down and talked to him about it. I explained that I always felt like the third wheel in my own relationship, and that for my own happiness, I didn't want to be in a relationship that makes me feel that way anymore. I gave examples to him that I did in my original post, such as his lack of boundaries with Nell, and his disinterest in standing up for me whenever she mocked me. I also said my trust in him had been eroded to the point where I felt unsure of what I really was to him. I told him I still cared about him and wanted him to be happy, but that I wanted to be happy too. My boyfriend sat silently for a while before asking, so, ... you're jealous of Nell. God. Okay. Anytime I hear, like, cis dudes on Twitter being like, man, it's so hard to get a girlfriend. The bar is in hell, huh? Like, someone actively dating someone in their 30s has the emotional intelligence of a dead animal. Like, that's crazy. Okay, sorry, I needed to dudes suck. Anyway, I felt like he'd barely processed anything I just said. No, you didn't feel like that. He didn't. And when I tried clarifying, he got defensive and told me he was allowed to have female friends. I could tell he wanted to turn it into an argument, and since my mind was already made up and I'd said what I wanted, I ended the conversation, and he played a computer game and acted like I wasn't there as I packed my things and left. I've been staying with my best friend, who's amazing and always so supportive. We're actually looking into sharing a place officially. I burst into tears on her doorstep and we hugged it out before having a movie night with pizza and some wine. It felt really therapeutic, like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. My family has been amazing too, rallying around and taking me out for little meals and stuff. I even got 1 or 2 sweet messages from my boyfriend's friends saying they were sorry and that they fully understand my point of view, which is interesting. That is interesting if your boyfriend's friends are like, I get it. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? I imagined that would be the end of it. But the next morning I woke up to a message from a number I didn't know. It was Nell. I honestly didn't think she'd contact me, so to see walls and walls of text in my inbox was a shock. Let me run down some of the things she said. She repeatedly insisted that she never bullied me, and she said she had no idea where that came from. She said I'd always seemed so cold toward her, so tried to make little jokes to break the ice. Openly mocking someone is an interesting method, but I digress. Lastly, she told me I was making things up by suggesting she ever had a thing with my ex, they were just friends. She finished with a passive-aggressive apology that I'd ruined my own relationship by being jealous and listening to the voices in my head. Crazy. I didn't respond to her venom or try to get the last word. I know she wanted to repeat her tried-and-true method of hitting out at me and enjoying my reaction, so I didn't give her one. I've been focusing on other things to start building my self-esteem and happiness back. My ex has not tried to contact me since I left, and I'm glad. Frankly, I think him and Nell are perfect for each other. I'm well and truly done with this and so excited for new things in my life. My friend and I are making arrangements to officially have a place together, and I actually got promoted at work today. I feel like it was a little hug from the universe. In all, things are looking bright. So to end things, I want to thank everyone again for the messages. I think hearing your opinions, as well as getting all of my thoughts out in a post, are what really opened my eyes and allowed me to leave. I feel free. I finally feel I'm making myself the priority. Feels pretty great.
Yay.
Nell wants to fuck him so bad, and he wants to fuck Nell so bad.
Oh. It's just crazy that she got her number to text her.
Well, you know what happened is the news broke. He was telling Nell about it, and Nell was like, "What's her number? I want to talk to her."
Yeah, it's just crazy that he would do that.
Some people really never leave high school, huh? Like, this is high school shit.
Yeah.
You're 30 and 34. This is high school shit. Like, grow the fuck up. You're acting like a 16-year-old.
Like, I would not do that. I'm like, no, it's over. It's done. Especially because he hasn't even tried to contact her.
Nope, not once. He tried to argue. She didn't argue. And he, before she left, started playing on his computer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, he's a 14-year-old and she's a 15-year-old.
Yeah, really. It's terrible. Good for you, person. I don't know your name. I only remember.
She better than me. If I got that wall of text, I'm like, you want to fight? Let's fight. I don't have to play nice anymore. I'm not dating your best friend anymore.
Right.
She better than me. I started texting back immediately.
Same.
Um,
And then I would have gotten everybody else's input on the message before I sent it back.
You know what? It is really interesting that the whole, like, many of the friends group were like, I get it. So, like, okay, everyone knows this. Can y'all just, like, fuck already? Like...
Or, like, just don't be friends with someone like that.
That too, yeah. It's just crazy to me. It's one of those things where, like, I've heard about situations like this where if they aren't dating, it might be a thing where, like, neither of them want to, they just like the attention the other gives them.
Yeah.
Which is just, again, high school shit.
Which is, yeah, this is weird. Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. And act more like OP and not like Nell.
Yeah. Go to therapy.
Strive to be like OP. I could not. I would be arguing with Nell in the DMs for like a week.
For real.
Until Nell blocked me.
I gotta defend my own honor.
It's not even defend. It's one of those things where I think this is one of my toxic traits where, like, if I'm OP in this moment, I'm not dating the guy anymore. I'm not in that friends group anymore. I have no ties or relationship or bridges to burn. So I can say whatever the fuck I want to Nell now.
Hell yeah.
It's letting the weight off. It's here's all the shit I wish I could have said to you when I knew you as a person.
I'd be the one that would take the screenshots of the messages and send it, and I was like, okay, here's what I was thinking as a response. Tweaks, guys, tweaks. Am I good? What else should I put?
I mean, she's moving in with her best friend. That's a perfect opportunity to have another, like, pizza night, but instead of a movie, you screencast your phone to the TV and you work together to ruin Nell's evening. I think I'm just too petty to just
That's
be like, I'm
petty.
not giving her the No, I'm giving her the satisfaction.
It's the, okay, you want to act like a high schooler? I'll stoop to your level. Just for you.
They go low, we go high? Fuck no. They go low, I go lower. All right, back to the wheel. The universe knows that the tier list ends the video because it's saving the tier list for last. I'll hide the choice so we can spin again. So my topic, because I was thinking about it, kind of generally and kind of about us, the topic was broadly dream jobs and how they change over time.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot of dream jobs. I could argue that I'm working one of them right now. And even still, I don't know in this moment if it's like the top. So did you want me to kick it off? Because I am a bit of a yapper. Or do you have an idea right away?
You can kick it off. I need the inspiration.
Okay. So when I'm trying to think of, like, the first dream job I ever had. Because I was definitely one of the kids who would flip between dream jobs. Where it was like, oh, one day I want to be an astronaut. One day I want to be, like, a dog, like, sled tamer guy in the Arctic. I loved the word Iditarod. I really did. I was obsessed with it. I watched Balto once and it changed my life. Wanted to be a vet at some point, and then my dad was like, you know, you have to put the animals down. I was like, don't want to be a vet anymore. But I think if I really think back to, like, the first long-term dream job that even today I still would consider to be a dream job, I think it's game show host. Which is, like, specific, and I get that.
I kind of forgot that you mentioned that to me before, and I wasn't expecking that one.
It's a really specific one. I feel like it's not one that gets said often. You're like, you know, like scientist or like actor. Game show host is up there for me.
It's even funnier because I fucking hate game shows so much.
Well, part of it is how much and for how long I've loved game shows. For a long time, and I think even now, GSN, the game show network, was like a go-to channel for me. I love because I never really liked reality TV. I was hit or miss with serialized TV. I like episodic TV, but game shows were always like, no matter what day it is, no matter when it is, I can put it on, it's real, and it's different. And I also love playing along. And I think part of it comes into the fact that I've always loved video games. Always, always, always. So it's a TV show that I can play, essentially.
Okay,
And then it combines things that I like job-wise, where it's like, it's still, because I have always loved acting, and I'm an attention whore, so obviously, I mean, I don't think you can do YouTube without being like at least a little bit of an attention whore, because you have to innately think that you deserve to be on a screen somewhere, else why the fuck would I record myself?
Got a little bit of narcissism.
A little bit. You have
to
be a little narcissistic. But it was a matter of like, I saw game show hosting as the perfect combination of a service job, acting, and even a little bit of stand-up. Because I do really enjoy stand-up. I did a lot of it in college. I haven't done much of it since, just because like time and location. We live in the burbs. I don't live in a near enough like places to do stand-up without driving like an hour out.
We're literally like 15 minutes from Philly, 30 from Center City.
Yeah, but like, think about 1, work schedule, 2, kids. When am I gonna, on a fucking Friday night, drive 45 minutes into the city to go do stand-up at like an open mic?
Do it. I can get you time if you really want.
I don't know. Well, regardless, game show hosts always felt like a good combination of all of those things. I don't know, it always just seemed really fun. I've always really gravitated towards the idea of being a game show host. I don't think that's number 1 anymore. It's not number 1 anymore, but it's still up there. Like, it's definitely still like, if you told me like, you are now a game show host for the rest of your life, I'm perfectly happy. Should I go into the next one, or do you have one?
Okay, I can start with my first one.
Sure.
Mine were pretty solid. When I as a kid, I didn't really, like, the first one that I remember, I was 9, and I wanted to be a storm chaser and a meteorologist. I want to chase them NATOs. I still do. That dream died senior year in high school when I tried AP Physics, and it was so hard that I was like, oh, this is not going to work out for me, and I was very sad.
Do you need physics for a storm chase? I thought you would just need like a different kind of science.
You need a little bit of everything.
Fair.
Because there's physics isn't important, but I need to pass physics.
Well, then that's when you get your physics person in the car, and you're the driver.
Yeah.
And you get your physics person in the back, like, typing on the laptop.
You need to pass physics as a class because it's like a required like gen ed type thing. I
tried my damnedest to help you pass that class.
I withdrew before the semester was like the first semester or whatever was over. I'm really good at calculus. When you give me real life rules to math, it just...
Which was funny, because I'm exactly the opposite. Calculus was always really rough for me, because it's all theoretical. Physics not only gave you the formula sheet, but mapping math to a real life thing that I can picture helped me so much. Where, like, calculus, I got maybe a 2 or a 3 on the AP Calc exam, for AP exams. But physics, I got a 4 and a 5.
I didn't take any of the AP exams when I took AP classes my senior year because I took them all for funsies. Because I'm just that much of an overachiever and a workaholic. But I passed AP Calc with flying colors, straight A's. I only struggled with limits and the very last unit, which was like them weird cone things. Because, like, that's when it was a little more geometry focused, and geometry makes no sense because it's all theorems, and that's stupid. Whereas, like, calculus, you get the formula, and it's the formula. It's just the formula. And, like, physics, you have to, like, there's so many nitpicky rules for, like, certain things that even with the formula, trying to figure out where, like, the right combination is what I just don't understand it.
One of the things I really loved about physics was doing, I guess, like, measurement math, if that makes sense. Like, if I know the answer is going to be miles per hour squared or something, being able to watch the measurements do the math to end up in that unit. I love doing that.
Oh, like the cross multiplying and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I loved
fine.
doing that too.
It was all the other rules with like friction and all that other stuff. I was like, there's too many rules now. It's not just base. It's just not a simple plug, and it's just too complicated now.
I remember there's a poignant moment in Calc where, like, AP Calc, the exam I didn't do great on, but the class I did alright. I didn't, like, I think the lowest grade I ever got in high school was a C, and that was the fourth semester of AP English because I just fully stopped doing anything, but there were still assignments. So
I was gonna say my first, I got 2 Ds, and they were freshman year.
Honey, you got 2 D. I was gonna say, honey, you got 2 Ds freshman year, all right?
Stop.
Hey, it's not weird. We started dating in high school. I was there for it. Well, actually, I wasn't there for your freshman year, but you get the joke.
But the first one was not my fault. My first D was in history. And first of all, I shouldn't have even been in that history class. I should have been in the honors history class. But my 8th grade teacher was a bitch. And because I didn't do her stupid interactive notebooks where you have to glue fucking paper in a notebook, I did it a binder. She said I wasn't smart enough for honors. And she wouldn't put me in it. And then my mom was trying to argue with the guidance counselors to put me in it anyway, and they weren't having it. But anyway, I was in like the regular people English class or history class, and I had a really bad stomach bug, and I missed like 3 days of school. So I missed the last test. So I went to the teacher and I went, I need to make up the exam that I missed because I was sick. Sorry.
Okay.
And I was like, I have a free period. Like I have study hall this period, and I think I had like freshman year. Did I have lunch? I don't think I had a lunch freshman year. Or I can stay after school and do. And she goes, well, those don't work for me. So she gave me a 0 on the entire exam, instead of just marking it as an excused because I couldn't make it up to her schedule. And it brought me from a B to a D. And then my mom called the school again and was cursing them out because that wasn't right and they didn't fix it. The second one was geometry, because geometry is all theorems, and that doesn't make sense to me. Pre-calc made geometry make sense because it was just the actual legitimate math.
Geometry is funny because I'm very, very good at geometry, except for circles and ellipses. I don't know what it was. Every time I took geometry in high school and in college, or like there's a geometry unit, I would do everything so good, and then I would fail the circles and ellipses test. My brain just doesn't get it. I just don't get it. Something about circles and ellipses are too confusing, I guess.
Is that with like the sine, cosine, and tangent?
Sure. I don't know. It's been too long. I don't remember. But what I was going to say was I never failed anything, but I was also very much an underachiever. Hold on, I have to yell at my cat. And there's a poignant moment that I remember in AP Calc where the test I maybe got a 2 on or a 3 or whatever, but the actual class, when final grades got posted, he at the front of the room went, I've posted your final grades. It's an average of all of your grades for the year. Because you have the AP exam, I'm not going to give you a final exam that's weighted. But you can see it by your student number. And I raised, he's like, to keep it anonymous. And I raised my hand, and I, over to him, I, like, from my desk, shouted over the room, if I have 4 B minuses in each semester, would that average out to a B minus? and he went, yeah, it's B minus. I was like, cool. And I didn't get up from my desk. Because I knew I had a B minus in every semester because I did exactly enough work to not get a C.
That's so funny. I was an overachiever. I was a workaholic, and it damaged me.
No, I was a huge procrastinator, but I never got punished for it, so I never stopped doing it.
Oh, yeah. That's that ADHD.
Yeah, no, I would...
That undiagnosed.
I would not do as much as possible, and then I would not do work until, like, as little time as I needed to complete it to when it was due. To the point of, like, the classic shenanigan of doing your math homework, starting it, knowing that I'm near the back of the roster, So when she goes desk to desk to check if it's done, start it. So when she gets there, finish. Or like writing papers the night before, so on and so forth. But I got A's and B's, so I never stopped doing it. Which is very unhealthy, but I needed the negative reinforcement and I didn't get it. Other dream jobs. I mean, like I mentioned, this,
that was a very long tangent of not on topic, by the way.
Well, I mean, that's the point of the podcast. It's etc. Shit happens.
Yeah.
I going back to elementary school. Elementary school. I was a go-to Christmas present for me was a new camcorder.
Oh yeah.
Because I would go through them. Because I would, man.
Dry itchy throat?
No, it's like scattered mucus.
Oh, I have a dry itchy throat.
That it webs and then gets caught. Because it would be me and my two friends at the time, where we would just like make skits and I would edit them together on VideoPad Editor, a dog shit editing program. Absolute dog shit. And the nerve of these people to charge I think it was like $60 for the program. And it was cheaper than Adobe, so that's why I bought it. And then not only was it definitely dog shit, but I wouldn't use it for a couple years and then I would get back into making videos again. And I would need it would have updated so much that I would need to email an admin to get a new product key, because I still have the lifetime pass for the program, but it updated so much that it wouldn't update and I would need to re-download it and then need to email an admin and get literally some guy emailing me the product key.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it started with skits, and I still think that's probably the thing I enjoy making the most. I really like scripting and directing and I love every part of that process. But the filming of it and the camera work, every part of the process I enjoyed. And then Let's Plays got really big on YouTube, and I was like, okay, what if I do Let's Play? And I have maybe a 2 years worth, a year worth of shittily edited, recorded Let's Plays of me playing Mega Man X, Frogger's Journey, the Game Boy game. Banging Game Boy game, by the way. We have multiple Crash Bashes, but this is going to be high school Crash Bash.
Cringe.
A bunch of that stuff, and obviously that didn't go anywhere. So I started streaming because that was easier, and I would chop together the streams and upload those to no avail because I wasn't putting in enough effort. And then cut to 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, and I did a FNAF timeline, and here we are. But even from all the way back in elementary, middle school, I was making skits and uploading them to YouTube. So I would argue that what I'm doing now constitutes as a dream job.
Yeah. I mean, I did a couple of skits with my old friends, and I didn't have the internet or a computer, so we would do it all at their house, and we would upload them. They're all gone now. I think the YouTube channel's actually deleted, so.
It's still my personal YouTube channel. They're just all privated. Maybe one day, I kept saying, if I ever hit 1 million subs, I'll do a stream where I pull up a bunch of those old ass videos and we'll watch it on stream. I'll just have to vet them first, because I guarantee you half of them would dox me.
Right.
Because I know I was filming in my front yard.
Green, you don't live there
I don't live there anymore, but I don't want to put some random address on blast.
Fair. Maybe you'll have to censor it, re-download it and blur it out or whatever.
Bastard. Casey bit me.
Ah!
Casey, you're being a bastard.
It's probably because he's hungry, because the cats keep eating his food.
I filled his food bowl less than 2 hours ago.
Oh, well, I don't know what his problem is.
He wants more.
He usually does that when he's hungry. Hi. Are you going to come up?
Come get some attention. Get some affection. Do you have any other dream jobs?
Well, then it was going to be teaching because, so, like, see, in high school for a couple years, I did, like, the child development class where, like, the high schoolers got to, like, teach preschoolers during a period and stuff. And that was really fun, and I really liked it because I really liked working with kids. But as I was working and I got my associates in early childhood, and then I was working on getting my bachelor's, and the American education system kept, like, just getting worse and worse. I went, fuck that. I don't want to teach and raise other people's kids. I just want my own. So that dream job went out the window. And now I guess I'm technically living a dream job being like a stay-at-home mom and, like, I guess you're a glorified secretary. But I think, like, at some point I want to go back to school to be an IBCLC.
We need to get this cat a new collar.
Oh my god. Yes.
He has torn this thing up. Sorry to cut you off. I just got so distracted by that.
I totally lost my train of thought.
You want to go back to be an LBCC?
IBCLC, like a International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. So to help moms breastfeed.
Yeah, I think other than that, I'm trying to think if I had, like, any other... I mean, there's one, but I want to save it for the end. So I'm trying to think if there's, like, any other dream jobs before I move on to that one.
Accountant was on there for about a year and a half, and then I was like, I like doing the money math, but I just don't feel like actually doing all of the work for it, so...
Author's on there for me.
Yeah, I am writing a book right now.
But I think that's just something that I'm always going to be doing in the background, no matter what. I can't think of anything else. I guess I'll move on to the other big one. And I think this is the number one now, and it was after game show host and has stayed there pretty consistently. And that's voice actor.
Yeah, I was expecting that one to be the first one, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to save it for last because it's like the most current one. Because it goes back to gaming, right? Because video gaming has always been a huge part of my life. It's always brought me a lot of joy, and, like, a lot of my most meaningful relationships either started or were helped cultivated by video games. I would argue our relationship started because of video games.
It did.
Because I broke the ice with you talking about Black Ops.
Yeah, it did.
So, like, video games have always been, like, such an important, like, art form to me. It's, like, the type of entertainment I consume the most. The thing that I like to do a lot, you know? And I've always been interested in the creation of video games. I've tried to teach myself programming with, like, online courses. I've never had the attention span for it. It's really interesting. I love the concept and the, like, work that goes into programming and coding and all that. I do not have the attention span to... Every time I try, I get really invested for, like, a month, and then I drop it.
That's ADHD. You need meds.
Yeah. And then same thing with, like, modeling and art, and, like, I think I one day, like, I sat down and I was like, realistically, what could I add to the game development process? And it really just came down to writing or voice acting. And writing, I can always practice in my free time pretty easily. So, like, that's always going to be in my pocket, and hopefully that can happen one day. But when it came to voice acting, I've always loved acting. Like, I've done theater since middle school. It goes, again, leans onto the whole, like, a little bit of narcissism thing.
You just need that positive reinforcement, and you get that via the audience and the crowd.
Yeah. Now, I've always loved the feeling of, I guess, like, being on stage, if you will.
It's a really fun feeling. I do miss doing stage shows. It's been so long, and we don't have time that I don't even think that even if I were to audition for stage shows, I would not get any parts.
I for me, it's a time thing. Like, it's less would I get the part, and it's like, even if I somehow get the part, would I have the time to dedicate 2 to 3 hours 3 to 4 days a week? Probably not.
Not until we make a shit ton of money.
Shit ton of money, or, you know, shit ton of money, and have our kids be old enough to have their own evenings.
Yeah. We'd have to wait, like, 4 or 5 years minimum.
Yeah, well, that's a. The older I've been getting, the more I've realized that, like, I got plenty of life left.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there when we get there. Life's gonna be cool as shit now, when I'm 30, when I'm 40, and when I'm 50.
Yep.
And when I'm 60, it's gonna start to get achy. Like, really achy.
Oh man, I'm already achy.
But, like, more achy. But yeah, it's always voice acting has always been a huge passion of mine too, and it's been one of those things that, like, I know I've always wanted to do, but I haven't always committed the time to getting better at it. And that, I think that's a recurring theme. Again, the ADHD. But like Japanese art, like a bunch of things in my life that I'm like, I really want to get good at this, and then I get super invested for a month or two, and then I drop it. But, like, I remember I made my first casting call club account 9th grade, maybe? Like 10th grade. Like, the moment I found out about the website, was always watching, like, Steve Bloom has, like, a free, if you give your email, he'll give you, like, his membership thing will send, like, a pre-made video for free. And, like, I watched that 10 times over. And then, like, nowadays, it's one of those things where I think it is the thing I would enjoy doing as a job most, but there are still things I think I just need to get better at it. So it's a matter of, like, looking for classes or workshops and honing that, because I get to a point where I'm like, okay, well, how do I start getting jobs or roles? And one of the voice acting mastery podcasts I've been listening to, I mean, technically he quoted Steve Martin from a masterclass, but the quote was, how do you get hired? And it was, be so good that they can't not hire you. So I think that's where I'm at right now, of, like, take a bunch of classes and workshops, more than I already have, and maybe start reaching out to, like, look to see if there's a remote work agency or something. I don't know. It's a weird job to get started in. I can't just, like, apply.
Yeah. Well, the fun part, being Philly close, is that we can take trains to New York.
True. Yeah. If there's jobs in New York, I can at least take a train there, so it doesn't have to be remote.
Yeah, everybody knows we're Philly trash.
Yeah.
So,
fair.
At least I'm Philly trash. You technically moved all over the place, so.
True. I mean, realistically, if I somehow a year from now, 2 years from now, if I get, like, oh, there's a job in LA, it'll only pay you so and so amount of money, and that money pays for the flight and the hotel room, I take it. Like, realistically.
Yeah.
But, gotta take some more classes, hone that, get better at that first.
Yeah.
But I think talking about, like, dream jobs, that's number one for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I get, like, I don't know what my dream job would be. Like, I think I'm leaning towards, because, like, I really love working with babies. The baby, like, the newborn stage is my favorite. I love the itty bitties. I like to, like, help people, and I like teaching, but I'm not going back to the public school system or even, like, getting a degree, because I don't want to waste the money.
Oh, it's in your face. I'm trying to find a place to put the microphone where, like, it's still closer to you, but it's not perfectly blocking Casey's head like it is right now. Because it is perfectly blocking Casey's head. I'm like, the people want to see the Casey. We'll do that.
And I feel like IBCLC would be really good, because, like, I still get to work with the itty bitties, and I get to, like, help moms, and that would be really fun. Or, like, I think somebody in your stream recommended, it was like, oh, I could be a doula. I could totally do that. I've given birth twice. I can help other people give birth, but that's time and money. And, like, I don't even know, like, what my passion would be, because, like, I am, like, writing books for funsies because I really like to write. I don't know if I would technically ever make it as an author because I'm really shy. I'm really shy. So I don't do a lot of YouTube stuff. And this and the that'll be coming out soon, if that's allowed to be said.
I might cut that because it's not even close to being announced yet. But you know, I won't cut it. I'll cut just the words you said, and then people will be like, "The what?"
Will be the only things you'll ever really see me in, because I'm awkward and shy.
I mean, you can be an author, and I
guess I could have a pen name.
I would argue most authors are kind of awkward and shy.
Yeah, but they're putting out their work, and I'm really shy about sharing.
Fair.
Like, I don't like to share. Like, I don't like criticism, is the thing. Because criticism makes me sad.
So publish and log off.
Or, like, I like advice. Or I'm like, oh, I want your opinion on this. But then I'm like, now I'm really awkward because then they're judging a piece of me because I wrote it. And I don't like being judged because I was judged harshly for a lot of my life.
More therapy.
I'm working on that. I go twice a month. I should probably go back to more.
But... I mean, that's completely normal. Like, that's not an irrational fear to have. Or, like, not fear, but that's not an irrational feeling. It's just one of those things of, like, reinforcing in yourself that, like, putting out a work, as much as it is a piece of you, how others view it is not inherently true to its value, nor yours.
Yeah, I know. I just get scared.
I get that. That's totally normal. I mean, it's something that I've had to come to terms with a lot, reading comments. Because, like, I think for my mental health, I read the first, like, half hour to an hour of comments. Because those are usually the most helpful and or positive. And then I don't open my comments tab until the next video goes out. Because that's when, like, more people start seeing it. And they tend to not be as nice. But that's something I've had to really drill home about, like, these people don't know me, and only I know my own value. Yeah. And I just gotta keep reminding myself that.
I feel like I'm about halfway through my, like, standalone book that I've been working on.
Nice. I've still got just the skeleton of one that I've yet to work on.
And we still gotta work on our duo.
At some point.
We'll try starting it after Thanksgiving.
We're at an hour. Do we dare start a tier list? Or do we call it here?
An hour's kind of short for our podcast.
An hour's kind of short. If we start a tier list, it's going to be a 2-hour plus video.
It'll be more like 3 hours. And
true.
Our videos are usually an hour and a half to, like, 2.
We can have a shorter one. I mean, I got to edit this tonight.
Yeah, I guess we'll call it.
And maybe we'll have our next tier list is male One Piece characters.
I really wanted to do that.
The problem is, knowing the length of that tier list, that might be our longest one. Female took an hour. And there's not that many female characters in One Piece.
I feel like we have to start making our own tier lists to prep for said podcast.
Right. All right, we'll save the wheel for now. And I think we'll call a slightly shorter episode.
Okie dokie.
I don't remember the outro. I'll have to look it up. But it was something along the lines of, join us next time for more Reddit stories, advice, tier lists, etc. It was something along those lines. I'll have to look it up because I forget.
I like it. It's cheesy.
Bye.
Bye.